What if the world you are shown is carefully designed to keep you calm while another world exists just beyond reach? What if the people entrusted with responsibility quietly live lives so detached from reality that their daily comforts would feel unreal to ordinary citizens? Tonight, this is not a story meant to entertain you, this is a story meant to disturb you, because behind speeches of honesty, sacrifice, and public duty lies a shadow economy of privilege, guarded estates, silent transactions, and luxury so normalized it no longer feels excessive to those who live inside it. Welcome to the secret luxury lives of politicians exposed, a descent into the hidden architecture of power, wealth, and secrecy brought to you by the Elite Lens, where we explore not what they say but how they live. And before this journey pulls you deeper, quietly subscribe to the Elite Lens, because once you understand this world, you will never look at leadership the same way again. Power has always had two faces, one for the public and one for the private, and the private face is where the truth resides. It begins with access, not money, access to rooms where decisions are made without microphones, access to people who speak in numbers instead of promises, access to networks that turn influence into opportunity, and slowly, almost invisibly, lifestyles begin to change. Official residences expand into estates, security budgets multiply, travel becomes private, conveniences become expectations, and what once felt extraordinary soon becomes routine. Behind high walls and guarded gates stand mansions that resemble royal compounds more than public housing, properties hidden behind shell companies and family trusts, driveways long enough to erase distance from the outside world. Inside, silence feels engineered, every room curated, every surface polished, art selected not for beauty but for value, paintings that quietly appreciate while hanging on walls, sculptures placed where cameras never enter, private theaters where global crises are watched like distant storms, underground spas hidden beneath offices meant for service, and wine cellars stocked with bottles older than the promises made to voters. Yet on paper, the numbers remain modest, disclosures clean, assets minimal, because true wealth at this level is not owned, it is structured, layered across jurisdictions, shielded by lawyers, protected by complexity, and when morning comes, the contrast sharpens. While cities wake to traffic, queues, and rising prices, political elites move through private corridors of infrastructure designed to remove friction from life. Private terminals where names are never announced, jets registered to offshore entities that lift into the sky without notice, interiors crafted like airborne penthouses, leather suites, personal bedrooms, showers, chefs, staff trained to disappear into silence, destinations chosen not for necessity but for invisibility, islands accessible only by air or sea, alpine retreats where snow absorbs sound, historic villas where deals are discussed beneath chandeliers. This is where power relaxes, where alliances form away from scrutiny, where influence is traded over candlelight rather than ballots. And luxury does not stop with travel, it embeds itself into identity, wardrobes filled with bespoke suits stitched by hand, watches forged from rare metals designed to outlive generations, accessories subtle enough to avoid attention yet expensive enough to signal belonging to those who know, garages filled with vehicles that blur elegance with armor, blacked-out convoys moving unnoticed through cities, supercars hidden beneath covers, symbols not of joy but of arrival, proof that one has crossed an invisible line into a protected class. And as careers advance, luxury transforms into legacy. Children enrolled in institutions whose fees alone exceed lifetime earnings for most families, private tutors, exclusive networks, clubs where membership is inherited not earned, investments placed strategically across continents to ensure wealth survives elections, scandals, even revolutions, because power plans for permanence. And what makes this world unsettling is not that it exists, but how normalized it becomes within it. Excess stops feeling excessive, privilege stops feeling unfair, accountability feels optional, public appearances turn into performances, carefully staged moments meant to reinforce relatability, rolled-up sleeves, modest backdrops, rehearsed empathy, while behind closed doors, indulgence accelerates, protected by influence, lawyers, silence, and loyalty purchased through opportunity. And when scandals surface, when leaks emerge, when questions arise, the luxury rarely disappears, assets shift names, ownership moves through layers, foundations absorb attention, and life continues uninterrupted. Because power protects power, and the public narrative moves on, distracted by the next headline. And this is not about envy, it is about distance. The distance between lived reality and lived privilege, between those who feel consequences and those insulated from them. And as you listen, you begin to notice the pattern repeating across borders, across ideologies, across systems, because luxury does not belong to any one party or nation. It belongs to access, and access is the true currency of power. And now, as this story deepens further, remember to subscribe to the Elite Lens, because exposure begins with attention. Awareness begins with patience, and understanding begins when we stop accepting images and start examining lifestyles. This is about recognizing how democracy can quietly wear the costume of equality while living the reality of aristocracy, how public service can coexist with private excess, how systems designed to represent many can slowly begin to serve a few, and as the final moments approach, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: the greatest divide is not political, it is invisible, between the world that is shown and the world that is lived, between speeches and silence, between promises and privilege. This has been an ultra-dark look into the secret luxury lives of politicians exposed, where wealth hides in shadows, power whispers behind walls, and reality slowly and uncomfortably steps into the light.